should. Now comes the fun part of waiting to make sure we're live, and then we go from there. Right, I think that will be that.
Looks good to me.
Right, and that'll be that then. Right, well, hello everyone, and welcome to the FPRL, not Formula 2 Championship, as I'm more commonly known for. It is the Tier 2 Championship tonight. Round 8 and the final of the main tiers to take on the Azerbaijan street circuit. I am Cruiser 1872, as I said, most commonly known for the Formula 2 series, and joining me is the rather grovelly voice of David Lawface.
Hello, I won't be talking much, but hi. Good to be here with you, Cruiser, of course. And yeah, looks like we've already got a couple of people in the chat. That's Ashdown and Silverside Boy. Good evening, gents.
And that, as David said, he won't be speaking too much through the broadcast, just to try and help his voice. And a good evening to Shadows, and slightly unbiased is my McLaren teammate of Silverside Boy. Hoping for a good result tonight, lads. No pressure. And I would say he was leaving the pit lane, but there's a giant green pillar in the way, so that's not really helping my cause. Get our telemetry up real quick.
Looks like it's both the Aston Martin guys.
Yes, we've got Tidjum out on track and a return to FPRL. Nigel saying, Nigel Piddle saying, so I've got to listen to you all night. Unfortunately you do. You've picked a brilliant time to make your full-time return to FPRL, and yep, he's taking the Aston Martin seat from Revenge Zilla, who I think has made the step up towards Tier 1, and Nigel hitting the invisible bump around turn 3. So unfortunately, Nigel, yep, you've got to put up with me and not so much David, but he'll be chipping in here and there, as unlike the Tier 3 qualifying, we will have a full qualifying session, so an 18-minute Q1, and should roughly get an idea of where our drivers are in comparison to each other. Quite a few cars out on track, some leaving the pit lane just now, but we'll stick with the Aston Martin pairing. We'll jump up with Tidjum, see if there's any team names, either any like Slipstream, and we've got the actual FP Racing lead, which I assume is going to be Monkey Boy Kurt. So I do the evening to you, my friend.
Wrong.
Oh, who was it?
It was me, obviously.
Wow,
I'm still logged
onto
onto the Twitch, so yeah.
Well, up the David. Tina Tidjum about to start their first lap, in the first lap of the session, as we've got a car straight on at turn 2, I think. Yeah, that is Valente. Obviously not having a good start to the session, as Tidjum eventually gets down to the start-finish straight to start their first lap. A very, very long Sector 3 here in Baku. Tidjum keeping it relatively clean around turn 1, and we've got a Red Bull further behind there of Lemming, trying to get the slipstream, as we've got an incident around turn 16. I think that's one of the McLarens in the wall, but Tidjum heading down towards turn 3. Got to be careful of that bump on the outside of the track. Does avoid it, and it does keep it within the lines, not using as much of the outside curb around turn 4 now. He does take quite a lot of curb there and nearly hits the wall because of it. And a first sector split now for Tidjum of a 36.3. And that Red Bull behind getting the full advantage of the slipstream. Tidjum now down towards turn 7, and basically the one-way street of the castle section as Lemming hits the wall there on the exit. Just seeing how narrow this section is of the track, it's proper pinpoint precision from the Aston Martin, going around turn 12 now, and up towards the infamous turn 13, turn 14 combo, as David fine well knows from his race in Tier 3.
Yep. Yeah, I'm
Now
just...
the late break of turn 15. No, I'll let you finish.
So I was just getting Genuvain into the game. So he is joining.
We'll have a full grid for the evening, and now Tijum round the final few corners, but absolutely flat out, and this is where the Red Bull behind will get full advantage of the slipstream as Genuvain has joined the session. Tijum up to the line, and the benchmark time for the session is a 1:42.3 as Lemming does a 1:42.6, and Nigel across the line on a 1:41.5.
Yeah, not setting the world alight these times so far in Tier 2. Nigel's a little bit more like it as CTX goes into second for the moment, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think the next person over the line is Squid, and there you go, that's 1:41.1, a bit better.
Cena times falling down, and Silverside Boy up to the line, non-biased, up the McLaren, and he's going to put it up into P5 on a 1:42.0, as Shadows on a 1:40.5. That's a really strong lap there for the Williams. And we'll jump now down to the Mercedes of Pines, who's just about to start their first lap in the session, and Biddle currently on their first lap as well. So we'll stick on board with the Ferrari, soon to have a new livery. Of course, running the new Monza livery, as we've got a weather report from Midfield Maestro saying the race is dry to wet. Well, that could be quite a surprise, as Biddle does a 35.7 for the first sector. And we've seen there Bolly up in 5th for the Alfa Romeo team. Yellow flags in Sector 1 and Sector 2. I think that's just 4 cars trying to stay out of the way. And for all how long of a track Baku is, it's one of the longest tracks on the calendar. Traffic could still be an issue, as everyone wants to get a full advantage of a clean track and slipstream.
Yeah, I've just been watching Bidley's lap. It's not been too bad. He got a little bit out of sorts at turn 15, I think it was. But it was just a glance on the wall. Don't think he'll lose too much time, if any, but he comes through alright now. P2.
Relatively strong lap there for the Ferrari. We'll head back now. We'll see Snedden about to start their lap, and Pines has backed off of their lap. I wonder if they've had a collision. They have indeed had a meeting somewhere with either a wall or a car. They've lost a bit of the front wing on the right hand side. As Silverside Boy, I'll have a check with him. I think he's went for a bit of a back off lap before he starts another one. Valente up in 9th in the second of the Ferraris. Tiddlewink on their lap now, just down towards the late break here, turn 15. Gets in the curb a little bit, and that compromised his line. Down towards turn 16 now, before the long run, near 1.2 kilometre run down towards the start-finish line. And this is where having a low downforce setup will really pay dividends. All the time, 200 miles an hour now, as Phenom goes into second place on a 1:40.8, and we've seen now Tiddlewink 213 miles an hour over the line in a 1:41.2. So we're going to be seeing quite a few compromised setups here this evening. Obviously, with the nature of Baku, it's a very, very fast street circuit, but that tight twisting castle section of Sector 2, that's where you're going to have to pay the price for that setup, as Yorkie goes into P6. And a good evening to Button in the chat saying, come on Edo.
Yeah, I'm the Button.
Should mention, Indeed, up the button and up the Eagle. I believe this is their first race in this Tier 2 campaign this evening, and wish them nothing but the best of luck.
Yeah, so I was taking a look at some of the drivers going around. One thing I did notice was that Snedden, on his first attempt at a hot lap, managed to hit the bump on the entry of turn 3 on the left-hand side, and he pulled out from there. He's just started his new hot lap, and his next corner up will be 3. Will be interesting to see how wide a berth he gives the entry curb on the right hand side here. Oh, he's turned in very early there. I think he might have got away with it. Ooh,
Definitely mindful on a massive slide out of turn 4. He just kept out of the wall, but he is in danger now of being in the drop zone. But apparently a purple sector 1, which I am not buying for a second. But Snedden, I get the feeling he might just back off of this lap and come into the pits. We've got a ton of bodywork on track there. I think someone's hit the wall. I'm not sure who though. It was Crossjury in the Williams. They've got a bit out of shape around turn 7 and they've lost their front wing.
Yep, so not even on his hot lap, he's just completed his hot lap. He's managed to hit the wall. Needs to be careful through this corner. Very easy to understeer into the wall, especially with no front wing. But he, looks like he'll be limping his way back to the pits now, unless... Is that Eagle behind him?
That is the Haas of Eagle, just going around turn 16 now. And this long run down towards turn 1, and Crossjury just gets out the way of the flying Haas as Yorkie's retired from the session. Yorkie I think has retired in the pit lane, so they feel safe on a 141.4. And I think that could be close to the benchmark as Eagle does a 140.8. So strong lap there for Eagle upon their return to the Tier 2 series.
Yeah, interesting to see him up so high upon his return. I actually think what happened there in Sector 3 was a rather botched attempt for Crossjury to give him a bit of slipstream. I think these guys will be sat in the party together.
Indeed, friends in the league, but suppose that friendship could stem on track as the other Haas of CTX brings out the yellow flags around turn 2. I think that's just for a back off of their current lap. Biddle up in 5th, I think they've improved on their time, and Twins as well. We didn't pick up on Twins too much, of course. Welcome back, Twins. My first race commentating over for the Alpine driver, and they're up in 4th for now. Just watching Pines now on this final dash to the line. Going to try and make an impact around the top half of the time charts for the Mercedes, and he is in fact right on the cusp of it, and he's in 10th as I think Bolly's had a few problems. Oh dear, at the castle section, Bolly, and I'll quote David from Azerbaijan, Bolly is in the from Azerbaijan, excuse me, from Saudi Arabia, Bolly is in the Wally. I butchered that completely, I do apologise.
I don't ever remember hearing you saying that ever, but yeah, it works.
Trust me, I remember you saying it because I was on comms with you that night as well. Team Silverside Boy ready to start another flying lap down in 17th, so they'll need to improve very quickly. And CTX, without a front wing, I wonder if they've made contact with the Alfa Romeo, and that has sent Bolly into the wall and out of this qualifying session. So at best, it will only be P16 for the Alfa Romeo as CTX dashing into the pits, and they've got to be very quick to get that front wing changed and go out for one more lap.
Yeah, so Silverside Boy currently in the drop zone. He's just started his new hot lap. 2J came out in front, just behind him on the standing, on the qualifying results as of now. And I noticed Gary was one of the ones to clip that curve of turn 3 on his outlet, but he managed to avoid it this time.
As Junivane skyrockets up to the fastest time in the standing, so they're well out of danger now of dropping down. And we're seeing the times here in retrospective to each other as, oh, Tijim. I think Tijim's done what you done in the Tier 3 race. They've spun it around turn 14, so that is one of the the Aston Martins out of the qualifying session as well. And that's going to hurt his championship charge this evening. Silverside Boy going round. Yeah, Tijim on the inside wall has crashed and will probably be starting last if Valenti can improve on their time. But we'll have a check now with Silverside Boy around the final sector now. He's up 8/10 on his best lap, so he keeps this up. It should see him out of Q1. Almost gliding through turn 19 as Edo has retired in the pit lane in 4th, so that should see the Haas through. Now the McLaren down to the line, and Edo's into 10th with a 141.2. So he's got around 6/10 of a second between him and the drop zone, so that should see both McLarens into Q2 as... Oh, Biddle's hit problems as well.
Yeah, that dreaded last corner. And I'm saying that one.
The irony, it's a Ferrari.
Very true. Oh, I was just watching Tiddlewick come through that corner there, and he comes around the right hand, and all of a sudden you see Bidley's car pop, and he swerves over to the right, and then Bidley's car just disappeared. It might have cost Tiddlewick a little bit there, but he should be safe. He's up into 7th.
And that should see the Alpha Tauri through to Q2, as we've got just under 2 minutes left in this session, so anyone's going to get a lap in now, they've got to get it done quickly, as we have a few drivers on an out lap, a few on a flying lap, and a few on a bit of a desperation lap looking towards CTX down in 17th. Lemming needs to get this out lap done as quick as possible or he will be eliminated. Crostery on a lap as well, Maestro on an out lap, and Nigel on a lap right now, nearly a second up on his best time, so stick with Nigel around this final sector to see where he can put that Aston Martin. Of course, one Aston Martin will be knocked out in Q1, so it's now down to Nigel to try and get the best result he can for the team and look towards maybe some constructor points in the race. Up to the line it goes Nigel, and it's a 140.4, so that is definitely two things. One, through into Q2, and two, he's laid down the challenge for the rest of qualifying.
Yeah, just watching Valente coming through the last couple of corners now as he opens the DRS. Good straight line speed there, hitting up to 216 miles per hour. And it's only put in 14th. So
is it good enough for Valente? I don't know, because Crostery is a second up on their latest lap. So keeps it clean around the final sector. The Williams should be through. And Lemming's in great danger here of not making the line. He's got 10 seconds to make it, and I don't think he can. Is Lemming going to run out of time to get to the finish line? He's got 5 seconds to get to the line. He's going to cut this very close if he is, and he's just made it. So a final chance for the Red Bull of Lemming and Valente. It wasn't enough for the Ferrari. Maestro on a lap as well, as Crostery puts himself in 7th. So Valente is definitely out of qualifying. CTX up in 14th, getting any slipstream or tow he can from the cars around him, and Pines 8/10 up on their latest lap. They're all tumbling. All the lap times are tumbling as everyone is ascending up the order. Pines at this rate is going to look to probably challenge the top 5. Just keeping an eye out for other drivers on their latest lap, as Pines now up to the line, and it puts him 3rd place on a 40.4, right behind Nigel.
yeah, I've just got my eyes.
Oh, CTX, he's in the wall.
So that is him out. Looks like midfield Maestro in the last corner. Valente, of course, in front of him, definitely out. Let's see what midfield can do. Doesn't have the best straight line speed, I don't think. Running obviously quite high downforce, but he does go 6 tenths faster. So it's down to you, Lemming. How's your nerves? Came across the line with 1 second to go. He's only 2 tenths up. So at the moment he will jump Valente, and he does, but
It's only 16.
He was half a
Left
second,
it as late.
to be fair. Half a second off being in, I think. Or was he? No, that was York. He's half a tenth on him. Could have been York.
I wonder if that collision with CTX up at the castle section did cost Lemming all that time. Left it right down to the final millisecond, and it was 500ths of a second that's cost him in this qualifying session. 16th place for Lemming, and that is nothing short of a disaster, with his teammate Junivane top in the standings in Q1. And we've got 6 cars eliminated in this Q1 session. We've got Tijim, who just couldn't improve on their lap time but crashed in the session. Bolly at the castle section hitting the wall as well. Valente just couldn't quite find enough time on their lap. CTX in danger, finding the wall at the castle as well in 17th. Lemming just missing out in P16, and Biddle is, despite being through to Q2, crashed in Q1, so will not get to start any higher than 15th. Good evening to Ali Ferrari in our Twitch chat, and Maestro saying that...
Fucking Ali.
Regardless, good evening Ali, and Maestro saying that they're running a full wet setup for the race, I'm guessing.
The crack. For giggles. It's like a wisecrack. Yeah.
And Nigel redeeming a drinks commentary channel points redemption, so thank you Nigel, and Silverside Boy is returning the favour to you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I am keeping myself well hydrated this evening, as should all of you, of course.
Cheers to that. Ali saying they completely forgot about commentary, and he said I'm sorry. Trostery wasting no time out in Q2, and got quite a few people leaving the pit lane very early. Of course, along with Trostery, we have got, is it like half of the entire field. We've got Twins leaving the garage as well, and Nigel saying, hate to tell him, but it ain't gonna rain.
I don't know. He's obviously seen something that others haven't. But personally, around Azerbaijan, I wouldn't even if it was going to be a wet race, or partially dry and partially wet race, I definitely would not be running a proper wet setup. Traditional wet setup anyway.
Yeah, with the very long straights in Baku, you will pay the price for having a lot of downforce, but so Sector 2, it'll be absolute heaven for Maestro, and I think that's where he made up most of his time. Ali saying, I'm so happy it's Canada next. Of course, next week we'll be heading to Montreal for round 9 of our tier series. Saying as well, Ali, as he hates Baku was horrible, I hate the track so much. We all have our preferences.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I love Baku. I hate Canada. I used to love Canada, but ever since, it's just not been a good place to me the last few games.
Whatever. I mean, it's a track after Canada that I'm very happy about and I look forward to. That, of course, home soil in Silverstone. I'm definitely a fan of that. And all of our drivers now starting their lap. We've got Crossray on their lap, Phenom, Twins, Yorkie as well, and we'll jump on board with Nigel as they go through their first lap in Q2. And we'll keep an eye out as well for Phenom to see how much of an advantage this slipstream will get, because he is right behind the sole Aston Martin and the sole Alfa Romeo left in this session. Nigel almost rubbing the wall there at the exit of turn 3. Now we're in turn 4. Keeps it well within bounds, but Phenom will be hoping here that Nigel doesn't make a mistake on this lap, or else it will hinder the pair of them. We're in the turn 5, turn 6 chicane now for the Aston Martin. Relatively clean so far for Nigel. Now up to the castle. This is where the slipstream will hurt. Pinpoint accuracy for the Aston Martin, and he's actually dropped Phenom back a little bit, who I think might have tagged the wall and lost a bit of their front wing. I'm not too sure. They have hit their front wing. Oh dear, Phenom, that's not good.
As Yorkie in front also slightly taps the wall on the exit of 15 there. As Crossbury comes across the line. But yeah, Yorkie also, he did look to have pulled away a little bit from Nigel on this lap, so expect him to be setting a pretty decent time. Although,
I think he might escape some damage as well, even with that slight knock on the wall. As Yorkie does a 42-1 and Snedden, oh no. Snedden's hit problems at turn 16, got a massive snap of oversteer and is out of Q2. Oh dear, as Junuvane just extending the gap up at the front, a 140.1. I should mention as well, Nigel on a 41.0, Tiddlewink on a 141.4, and Crossray, as David mentioned, and who else is that? Maestro chipping in now with a 141.6, Crossray on a 41.7. Have a look now to the next driver over the line, which would be Edo. He's into the 140s, and now Shadow's up to the line. He's a 140.3. That's a really strong lap for the Williams. And finally, Silverside Boy in this latest line of cars. Up to the line, it's a 42.1.
yeah, not great from Silverside Boy. I'm sure he'd want to be much quicker than that. I don't know, maybe he's compromised his setup as well for apparently this fictitious rain that's coming in for the latter part of the race.
Having a bit of an argument in the Twitch chat. Nigel saying they were running a used set of tyres, so that's explainable. And Ali having a little joke saying that Junuvane is faster than them. And a good evening at 2 pounds in the chat saying that Junu for Tier 1 next season. Just kidding. I don't think you were.
Yeah. Ali wants to be reminded of what happened last season at Baku, last lap again. Well, I can tell you what, the exact same thing that happened in Baku Tier 3 this season last winter. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it, please do so. It's still on our videos at the moment. Obviously wait till after the race.
Yeah, heart goes out to you, mate.
It's my own fault. I was chasing you and I can't remember who it was. Steve focused on your battle and then ended up, yeah, winning it.
Oh dear. Edo now round the final the final main corner, turn 16, and now just the flowing final sector now, full throttle up to the line for the Haas. And I wonder here, is the McLaren of Silverside Boy trying to play some mind games here? Is he going to try and offer a slipstream to the Haas as he pulls into the pits, and I think Edo did get a bit of a purchase of a slipstream, and it's put him up into 5th.
Yeah, a little bit of an apology for Monza last year, I
Oh dear.
assume. Oh dear. I know Gary would love the fact that.
Not too sure. Not too sure if they will. Yeah, I think he brought that up in the Twitch chat. He's saying that you're welcome, Edo. So, and Button saying guilty slipstream. So a few drivers yet to set their maiden lap in Q2. We've got Twins, Pines, and Phenom on a lap right now, and Twins with a purple sector 1 apparently for the Alpine. Jump on board with them going around sector 2. Bit wide there, going around turn number 12. A bit on the curb and that compromises exit, but now around turn 13 and 14 up to the late braking zone of turn 15, throwing the car in to that corner, and now turn 16, the 116.4 for the middle sector, so that's not too bad, and now just flat out to the line for Twins. Buzzing the rev limiter there, going around turn 18, as we've got Pines up in 6th now, just setting their lap time, and now Twins will be the latest to complete their lap, and the Alpine goes up into 3rd. Twins definitely got a bit of pace here this evening.
Yeah, good lap there from Twins. Just Phenom left to go in this latest run as he comes up to the line, hugs the left-hand side, and he displaces Twins. Into P3 he goes.
Strong lap from the pair of them, Phenom and Twins. As we're just over 5 minutes left of this Q2 session, I'm starting to notice as well, there's a few darker clouds emerging over this Baku street circuit, so maybe Maestro's weather report wasn't that far off. Speaking of Maestro, they are currently on the cusp, down in 10th. I'm looking to our times right now, I'm thinking here that everyone from Pines down is in a little bit of trouble here. But Edo and Nigel on 141.0s respectively, up in 6th and 7th. So I'm thinking that they two could be safe as Yorkie begins what could be their final lap in this qualifying session. A few cars leaving the pit lane now. That is the sole Red Bull of Junuvane making his way out the pits to start, soon to start their final lap, as Ali has redeemed drinks and Totom's drinks. Thank you for that, my friend. We'll get that sorted after this Q2 session. Little flag in sector 3. Not sure what that's for. I think that could be for Twins on their in lap. Yeah, Twins just entering the pits now. 140.6, they might be safe into Q3. And we've seen a few team games here as well from the Alpha Tauris.
Yeah, very risky tactics here from the Alpha Tauri drivers. As you see, Yorkie getting a wash of dirty air there through the castle section. His teammate Tiddlewink in front, presumably about to go on a lap. Or is he on a lap? I don't know.
Yeah, Tiddlewink down 2 seconds on their best lap, but both of these drivers are in trouble of getting knocked out of qualifying. But Tiddlewink with the more battery than the pair of them, and now Yorkie's actually alongside him down towards the start-finish straight, so that's not ideal for the pair of them, and Yorkie's only up in 10th, so he's in a little bit of trouble here to get out of Q2 as Tiddlewink begins their lap.
I think that'll be it for
Nigel
Yorkie.
on... Yeah, Yorkie is in big trouble of getting relegated from Q2. And Pines is saying no more drinks left in stock, fraud alert. Oh dear. Well, you should have redeemed yours sooner.
Yeah, they are limited to once every 5 minutes because.
Oh, Nigel, I think he might just hit the wall. He had a really poor crunch there from the Aston Martin, going around turn 19. But up to the line now for Nigel, and he will improve to third. So even with that slight brush on the wall, he does improve on his time, and that should see him through to Q3. And oh, Maestro. No, Tom, you will not have the drink.
Oh, don't make me laugh,
Oh,
please.
Oh, the atrocity a bit deep there into turn number 2. But big lap ahead now for Silverside Boy. I'll leave them to it in case I trust them. Probably will, and probably have. But Tiddlewink 6/10ths up on their best lap so far. Now the final sector for the Alpha Tauri. Keeps it well out of the wall. And now just nothing but full throttle to the line. He's running low on his battery, so that could compromise him a bit to the line. And up into 6th place for Tiddlewink. And a 140.6. That could be just enough to get them through. As Yorkie has retired in the pit lane, so I wonder if Yorkie has accepted their fate. Oh, Squid very wide there around turn 1, just keeps it out of the barrier. And I think the Mercedes pair are going to try and do what the Alpha Tauris have done, both drivers respectively P7 and P9, so they will need to look for improvements as Midfield Maestro and Crosstory will begin their final lap, and Silverside Boy is going to complete their final lap. He's only 3/10ths up though on his best time, and I don't think this will be enough for Silverside Boy to get out of Q2 up to the line for the McLaren. And it's only a 141.9, so that is a disaster for the McLaren pair. 13th and 14th is the best they're going to get.
Yeah, disappointing for the McLarens. I do know that Silverside Boy is racing from a different place than usual this evening. Maybe that's affected him, or maybe he's running a slightly compromised setup. Maybe he's just not on it tonight. You know. Just want to point out that actually Gary L was over a second faster than that in qualifying.
Always got to throw a little jab in and kick a man while he's down, don't you, David? Well done. As Squid, I think, had problems out of turn 12 and have retired from this qualifying session, so they've got to hope that both Maestro and Crosstory do not improve on their times to displace him from P10. But having a look at Crosstory now on their final lap, they're nearly a second and a half up. A massive slide though around turn 16. It will have cost the Williams a little bit of time, and Ali's first to blink for the drinks redemptions. Cheers for that.
Yeah,
so that's 2 now for the end of this session.
I do want to point out P7, P8, that is Pines and Eagle, have done the exact same time. Although I believe Eagle did it first, so technically Eagle should be in P8, Pines should be in P9. However, the game isn't coded that well. So, could we see Eagle going out, despite the fact he should be going through? No.
I think the answer to that is a resounding no, as Maestro has invalidated on their final lap, and that'll be 12th for the Alpine. And also Lewis Yorkie knocked out in Q2 as well, just didn't have enough time left in them to go through, and Squid binning it on their final lap will do no better than 10th. That will round out this Q2 session with Junuvane topping the standings once again, and Shadows and Piddle and Phenom, and even at that Twins, It's not really much of a fuel spread at the moment. Every driver's got around a tenth of a second between everyone around them. And that's our standings for Q2. Snedden didn't get a lap in. Silverside Boy just didn't find enough time to get through. Maestro impeding on their final lap, only starting in 12th. Yorkie just not enough pace for the Alpha Tauri to get through, and Squid in 10th after crashing it on their final lap. Have a look as well at the Twitch chat. It looks like Ali Ferrari's having a bit of fun with the channel emotes.
Or at least trying
to. Sorry about the spamming, I'm just exploring emotes.
Yeah, well the thing you could do is actually spell the emote properly, so you could actually put the sad max.
And Nigel chipping in as well with some more emotes. Lovely.
I actually do need to rework the emotes, because they have become untransparent backgrounds.
Oh dear.
But never mind. Piggle's throwing shade. Well, guess what? Piggle doesn't quite realise that we are the ones who hold the power to commentator curse.
Exactly, and if you saw the Formula 2 race... yeah, I think now he's starting to plead a little bit. If you saw the Formula 2 race on the Sunday, I think someone will will know that I inflicted quite the commentary curse on Ashe in the, I think it was the sprint race around Mexico. So, better be careful what you say, Nigel, otherwise you will feel the wrath of the commentator's curse. And with me and David on comms, it's going to be a proper full wrath of power.
I do have some good form for Friday. I'm not usually on commentary, I'm usually sat in a party with Croskery, and we usually take it in turns, letting each other know who's gonna bin it next, but I'm sure that will translate very well to the commentary team.
It's all just a laugh, it's all a big joke, but when it happens, it does happen rather badly. I want to know how many channel points Ali Ferrari has. He's just been spamming channel emotes throughout the entire qualifying session.
Let's put it this way, he doesn't have as many as I do. Mostly because I'm logged into the FP Racing League, and technically I've got unlimited.
Oh, fair enough. I'm on 52,500. I definitely watch the races too much. Ali saying they have 15,000 channel points left, and they've wasted around 9,000 tonight. Oh dear. Anyway, Q3 and the first lap times are about to commence. Shadows starting their lap, Twins starting their lap, and we've got Nigel and Phenom behind.
Yeah, pretty clean there from Shadows in the first couple of corners. See if he avoids the bump. He looked like he might have caught it slightly there on the outside curb. I wonder how many times I will end up mentioning that curb tonight. I know I did it a few times last night as well, to be fair.
Definitely happened for me a few times, both in the race and I think in time trial as well. I managed to hit it a couple of times, but it didn't look like it hindered Shadows too much on their first lap. I think it might have actually just been something from the broadcast camera, as he didn't go very wide out of turn 3, but I'm wondering how many of our drivers will be on used tyres. We'll have a quick look at that real quick. It doesn't look like anyone's on an old set of softs, but I know Nigel did mention in Q2 that he did run a used set of tyres, as Shadows is very wide there around turn 16, and Yorkie has requested an invite. We'll get that sorted as soon as possible. Shadows now up to the line, and the lap time everyone is going to be chasing in this Q3 session from the Williams is a 140.3, and Twins, the first driver into the 139s.
Wow, what a lap from him. I don't mean to burst your bubble too much, by the way, but so the tyre wear, the lap counter on the tyres is only per session. So even if they were old tyres, they'd still say 0 laps.
Trust Codemasters.
Yeah, that's existed forever. That I wouldn't say glitch, but
minor inconvenience. But I think we're getting a rough idea as to who is on a used set of tyres. Phenom on a 140.6, and next closest driver is Crossgery. Well, now it's Edo on a 141.3, Crossgery on a 41.5. So I think, looking from the Haas downwards, they're all on an old or used set of softs, as Ali for the third time has redeemed the drinks and Procom's drink redemption. I think we should maybe limit the use of that per user to around 3 per week, I would say. And just to say, Ali, if you redeem it one more time, we're not going to acknowledge it.
Well, I might acknowledge it, but I do need to get another drink. I'm drinking something with honey in it, so it's good for my throat. It's a good reminder, if nothing else. It does seem to be coming rather frequently. I do need to hydrate.
Fair dues, fair dues.
I won't be taking
everyone's having
too
much.
Because that's one way to end up on the floor by the end of Q3.
Yeah, everyone's having too much fun with the Twitch channel emotes, and Ali's saying, well, I'm not redeeming until next race. As long as I'm not on commentary. Well, this Sunday I will be, for our Formula 2 series. And throughout all that discussion, Pines did back off of their latest lap, now on a second lap, and Tiddlewink might be having a one lap wonder here, I imagine, from the Alpha Tauri. Going to be the only driver out on track for the mid part of this Q2 session, as Junuvane is up in second and a 139.9, so the man that's been topping the time charts throughout all of qualifying has finally got a bit of a challenge here from that Alpine of Twins.
Yeah, really, really fantastic lap there from Twins, and Juno, take nothing away from him, that's a fantastic lap from him as well. But at the moment, he's just shy of 2/10 off. So let's see if anyone else can get up there. I reckon Nigel Piggle's definitely going to give it a go. Will he get a sub 40? Oh, I don't know. I'm sure he'll think he's got it in him, but we'll find out in about 4.5 minutes. I should have done the pole for pole. Let's do that now, shall we?
Indeed, and Tiddlewink cutting the curb around turn 7, and that has invalidated their latest lap. I think has rather ruined their Q3 session if they don't have another set of tyres. Gary throwing his name out there as a candidate for Tier 3. I'll leave that up to lead management to discuss on that one. But 4 minutes left now in discussion over. With 4 minutes left in this qualifying session and qualifying overall, we've got Nigel very early out on their outlap, and I get the feeling here Twins, he is going to go for another lap here, but with a very, very low battery. So as long as any lap is on the board for the Alpha Tauri, it's as good as it's going to get, I think, for Tiddlewink.
Yep, and the poll for pole is now live, ladies and gentlemen. Just a short one this evening, just the 3 minutes, because I've forgotten to put it up at the start. Q3, never mind, who cares? I don't.
It's a biased poll anyway.
Is
And the
it?
candidates on this poll for poll is Juno Vane, Twins, Nigel, who probably voted for himself, Edel, and Phenom. Just 3 minutes left now, and we're going to start seeing our drivers out on track for the final time. And looking at the rain cover, or the cloud cover from Q2 has disappeared, so I'm not sure now about Midfield Maestro's weather report, as Nigel will be the first driver to set a final lap in this session.
Yeah, I've absolutely,
with...
I've done Ashdown real dirty there by not putting him in the pole for pole. So I do want to apologise.
And Midfield Maestro in the chat saying rain dance enabled. And Fish Sticks agreeing with me for the Silverside Boy for Tier 3 petition, courtesy of Silverside Boy himself. Sticking with the Aston Martin now, around Sector 1, Sparks flying, so he's running minimal downforce, if any downforce, and he's already half a second up on his time as Tiddlewink goes into 5th.
Yeah, can people keep it out of the wall into the castle section? It's a big balls moment coming up here. He misses the apex on the right hander, but it shouldn't cost him too much time as he comes around through the treacherous left-handers here and break nice and early. Avoid the curb on the left, as he does very nicely indeed. His sector 2 split. A 1:16.1, he's 1.5 seconds up, near enough. This will put him into 1:39s, barring a rather large incident. I can say that because it's too late for him to crash.
Up to the line now for the Aston Martin, and it's a 1:40.1, so he's just missed out on the 1:39 threshold, but that puts him third. That does put him in third, so that's a strong result for the Aston Martin, as the provisional poleman Twins starts their final lap with Junuvane right behind them. Hines on their latest lap, and Nigel backing off on the back straight going towards turn 3, just keeping out of everyone's way, and now everyone is on their final lap. Have a look at the result of the pole for pole, and Twins wins the vote, or wins the poll with 5 votes to his name. Everyone else didn't even get 2. As Tiddlewink is in the pit lane now, and that is their session done. But the first driver to go over the line will be Phenom, and for the Alfa Romeo it's a 1:40.1, so that puts them in third temporarily. Next up is Shadows, who is up on their time a little bit, and to the line now for the Williams. Ooh. He's into the 39s as well. Second place so far for the Williams, a really strong lap for Shadows. The next driver up to try and challenge Twins is the Mercedes of Pines. There's no more to say, it's just flat out now to the line, taking the shortest line he can is the Mercedes, and he does it, a 1:39.6. As of now, that's an absolutely incredible lap from the Mercedes. So now Twins has to find a bit of time here. Next over the line it was the provisional poleman. Is he going to be up at the front of the order? He doesn't improve on his time, so Junuvane now, he's up by 3/10. If he keeps this up, this is going to be very close here between Mercedes and Red Bull. Ooh. And a 1:39.5. Junuvane steals pole at the final moments as Nigel Piddle has invalidated, so it's only 6th place for the Aston Martin. But Junuvane, I did say they had a bit of a challenge, but they've accepted that challenge very, very well, and they have came out on top in qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely great lap there from Ginu. I thought Tricks and Pines had come out and fooled us all by just doing the one valid run in Q3, but yeah, he's been gazumped by just over a tenth by Ginu Vane. And honestly, I didn't see anyone beating Twins' lap, which still gets him P3, which is personally I think it's a great lap. Also, Shadows getting into P4 with a sub 40 as well. Really great times here from the tier 2 crew. Just before the end of qualifying, we saw Crosscree also jump up a couple of places into P7. And yeah, so that means that he will start ahead of Eagle, who is in P8. And P9, I don't remember who it was. Sorry.
That would be Tiddlewink in P9 for this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. But on another day though, Twins with a 39.7, Pines with a 39.6, they would have been very, very strong pole times. But Junuvane just showing how quick he is around. Oh, I think you're funny. Alright, I'll do it. And I mean, Pines did it for me. I think everyone's just clock watching now for
Yeah,
that 5 minute warning to be up and just redeeming drinks redemptions.
yeah. I need to get another drink
Oh
though,
dear.
so.
And of course, use this intermission as a time for everyone to stretch their legs, get a drink if they need to, and before we get underway with our main race. Bit of a friendly dispute in the Twitch chat with Pines saying that they got a snap of oversteer in the castle that cost them pole, and Shadows saying it was a rookie mistake. Oh dear. Just waiting now for, as I was about to say it, waiting for the countdown now to begin for our formation lap. And I was going to say we'll use this as a time to have a look at what tyres our drivers will be using for this race. And Silverside Boy saying that if they crash this race, they're straight on F1 manager. Hopefully that's not an incentive as to what is going to happen in this race for the McLaren. As we wait for the lobby to sort itself out. And a full grid before us. Get our telemetry up.
Yeah,
and
good to see. Full grid.
Have a look at the tyres. Well, that's quite the surprise. Is there 1, 2, almost half of the grid. 7 drivers are starting on the hard compound tyres.
That is a very bold decision, especially from those towards the top. The hards are particularly great tyres around here, although they they don't last quite as good as they do at other tracks. But medium definitely the best race tyre here. You don't really want to go on the softs. They only last about probably 5 laps, and they will be rotten for that last lap and a half, I would imagine.
Yeah, I do pardon my fluctuance there, but it takes us through the grid for today's Azerbaijan Tier 2 Grand Prix. You like to do it, David, or do you want me to do the formation lap?
I'll do as many as I can out of the top lowest 10. So starting in P20, we've got Tijin, who had a little bit of a disaster in qualifying. Valley is in P19 in the first of the Alfa Romeos. Belente, another quite bad showing, sums up his season so far. Belente in P18, CTX in P17 in the Haas, P16 is Lemming.
Oh, sorry cutting there, David. CTX in the wall out of turn 14, trying to warm up his tyres, and he is sent spinning into the wall at turn 14. Yeah. A corner pretty infamous now across all of FPRL. Anyway.
Yeah, thankfully no damage on formation lap. So, yes, P15 is Bidley. I'm going to go a bit quicker now. P14 Snedden, P13 Silverside Boy. Both McLarens together there. Midfield Maestro. There's wet setup in P12. Yorkie in P11. I haven't given you much time. Oh, and someone else in there.
Oh, that I think is Twins. It's the second driver who's had problems warming up their tyres in this formation lap. But we'll run through the top 10 very quickly. We've got Squid down in 10th, didn't get a chance to set a lap in Q2, well in Q3 even. In P9 we've got Tiddlewink, 8th place is the returning Eagle, 7th place is Trostery, 6th place is Nigel. P5 is Phenom, Squid is invalidated their grid box, they start in 4th. Twins, the sole driver in the top 10 to start on the hards. And 3rd, then we've got on the front row this evening the Mercedes of Tricks and Pines, and on pole the Red Bull of Juno Vane.
Very well timed indeed. As we saw a few drivers invalidating as the lights go out. And away they go.
And we are underway here in Baku as a relatively even start from the front two, but Twins trying to challenge the pair of them around the outside into turn 1, but relatively clean throughout the top half of the grid, but the bottom half of the grid have hit problems, and I think that's Crossery in the wall. They've made contact with Eagle, and that is an early virtual safety car. Oh! Pines has been hit up the rear by Junivane, and Junivane has lost his front wing.
Has lost a lot more than that, I think. No,
certainly disposing a lot of the rear end was Junivane, and Pines I think got a bit of a scare as well. But with that early virtual safety car, and it's now a full safety car here on the opening lap in Baku, an absolute disaster for the poleman in Junivane, a 5-second penalty and needs a new front wing. But Shadows started in 4th, and even despite the disqualification on the formation lap, they made the most of that start and they're up into the lead of the race.
Yeah, so it was a good getaway from Shadows. I saw into the first corner Junuvane and Pines coming together just a bit of front left to rear right contact, and that sent them both wide at turn 1, and Shadows made the most of it, going into turn 2, getting a better drive off turn 1, and yep, he's now in the lead.
Oh dear, and Pines chat, they've got underfloor and diffuser damage. That is going to be like an absolute bolt for the end of this race for the Mercedes. And further down the order as well, we saw Edo and Crossery tumble down the order, and both of them without a front wing as well, and maybe some more external damage for the drivers. I'm not too sure what happened. I think it was pretty similar contact, just tyre face to tyre face, and both of them are in the wall, as to no one's surprise, Junuvane is in the pits to get that front wing repaired and put on a set of hard compound tyres. CTX following him in the pits, and along with Crossery and E follow in as well. And Balente's in the pits too. I think Balente, who started on the hard compound tyres, this is a tactical change here for Balente. He's going to go onto the mediums. So obviously, wanted to get the hards out of the way as soon as possible. And I think that's now a committed, like 3-stop strategy here for Balente. So quite an interesting move for the Ferrari.
To be fair, he could now be treating this as a mediums to hards, just starting a little bit further back. Of course, he is up on his starting position, I believe. He's up one place, so he's got a fresh set of mediums and has jumped to position. Ignoring the fact that Croskery and Eagle have both gone down 12, Junuvane gone down 15. Yeah, it's not been a great start for P16, 19 and 20 people.
Yeah, and also in that melee of the safety car and virtual safety car Delta, Biddle has picked up a 5-second penalty somewhere, and looking at the McLarens, a brilliant start from both Snedden and Silverside Boy. Up 4 places for Snedden and up 6 places for Silverside Boy, and the start that Mali's had down at 12th. He's made an absolutely brilliant start on those mediums. He's up 7 places and on the fringes of the points.
Yeah, bad from Bally indeed. Bidley did pick up a 5-second penalty, and I will just check who exactly. I think it was, oh, for God's sake, it was contact he made just as the safety car came out. So yeah, Bidley did make a contact with midfield Maestro, and Junuvane also had a 5-second penalty for the collision with Pines, so that was obviously under safety car. Both the drivers have got 5 seconds. Junu has served his. Bidley obviously hasn't. He's not been in the pits, still on those hard tyres, and yeah, I think this early safety car probably suits the hard runners that little bit more. It allows them to eke out a couple more laps, and which from these tyres, it means that they can go a bit more hell for leather on the faster tyre at the end of the race.
It's looking as well. Balente making a second pit stop, this time getting the front wing changed, and they're back onto the hard compound tyres. So I wonder if Balente might actually consider trying to go to the end on those tyres. It might be possible, but with 23 laps of racing, if the safety car comes in at the end of this lap, despite making that pit stop, it's going to be pretty hard for Balente to get to the end. It will be quite a lot of nursing those tyres throughout the race. And we'll have a look at the tyre graphic as well. Yeah. Refresh who is on the hards. Balente obviously on the hards. We've got Twins, the highest of the hard tyre runners, in 5th. Then we've got Yorkie in 6th. Silverside Boy in 7th, also running the hards. And then we've got Biddley. That's okay now, that does not suit. Yeah. And we've got Biddle in 11th place on the hards as the safety car is in this lap. Tidgham started on the hard compounds as well, and so did Maestro. Everyone else behind has made a pit stop under the safety car, and Balente, oh dear Balente, just showing there the tyre warm-up is horrible on those hard compound tyres. But as the safety car is going to leave the track, Shadows now is going to have to pull the pin on when they release the field as we go to start lap 4 here in Azerbaijan. Shadows trying to leave it as late as he can here, almost trying to force Pines to make a mistake. It's only a matter of time. Oh, and Tiddlewint said it had problems with Squid. 5 seconds for the Alpha Tauri. Junuvane further behind. Biddle's got past Sneddon somewhere, but he's already have that place back as Shadows has now unleashed the full power of that Williams, and they start lap 4 of this race with Squid and Tiddlewink in the pits, and Squid a 5-second penalty. Absolute disaster for both Mercedes at the start of this race. But Shadows now has got clear air in front of them. 8 lead down towards turn 3 with Pines fighting away now with Nigel. Nigel on the outside of the Mercedes around turn 3. Nigel does hit the bump, just keeps out the wall though, but Pines gets a compromised exit, a bit of wheel spin, and that's allowed Nigel to the inside of the Mercedes around turn 4, and Nigel's up into second place. And further back, Squid's made their pit stop, and they are onto a set of softs. Phenom now getting past Squid, Pines, excuse me. Yeah, getting past Pines, I do apologise for that. And looking as though it's Biddle who's struggling the most out of the hard compound tyre runners. They're now under threat from Lemming. Up the inside goes Lemming in towards turn 7, a very rare overtaking spot, but Lemming makes it work. A beautiful move from the Red Bull, recovering what they can from the start and from qualifying, and they're up into the points.
Yeah, it looks like Pines is struggling a little bit on the restart. He lost positions to Nigel and Phenom. He has looked like he was struggling a little bit on traction, so maybe that's tyre warm up. Maybe it's a bit of over-eagerness to try and catch up to the leader, but it looks like he's got back on now. Was Twins looked like he made friends with the barrier there, and that means Yorkie is.
Oh, sorry to cut in there, David. Up at the front, I do sorry to cut in there, but I saw on the broadcast with Pines trying to get past Phenom. Nigel has challenged Shadows, and it's a challenge he's won. He's up into the lead of the race just as they start lap 5 here in Baku. I do apologise for cutting in again, but Pines has got past Phenom up into third now, but Pines does have that damage from lap 1 with Junuvane. Pines under pressure now from Phenom, but Phenom has backed off of that latest challenge. Yorkie's got past Twins as well somewhere, and he's now up into 5th. Then we've got Twins, Sneddon fighting up through the order. I think he's been let through by his teammate Silverside Boy, both McLaren 7th and 8th. Bally definitely making up a ton of places at the start, up to 9th, and Lemming still in 10th. And I think one of the Hasses is in the wall further back. It's CTX. Oh, they've hit the barrier at turn 4, and from experience, that has ruined the race for the Haas. They might not have hit the wall at turn 4. They've got a bit of front right end plate damage. So I think there's been contact between themselves and another car. As Pines, Pines, what's happened?
The damage could very well be getting to him here.
And the damage has been done. Oh dear, minus a front wing, minus half of a floor and a rear wing. And I think that's going to be another safety car, and it is.
Oh no, screwy. Exactly.
Oh, the save.
Not as lucky as a certain tier 3 driver. We lost it twice there. Dear. Yeah. Oh dear. There's a drink waiting for you, by the way.
I done that when you were taking us through the what was it? It was the Pines and Phenom fight where you mentioned Twins scraping the wall. So I done that.
Oh, fair enough.
While you were going through that, and Crostery has left the session. I'm sure they're absolutely livid with themselves. CTX and Pines pick up penalties in the pits, and Pines has retired from this race. I think that's rather expected, to be honest, but that's going to hold up Squid a little bit in the pits.
Oh,
but I suppose
no.
he does get rid of those soft compound tyres. That's still not ideal though. Both Mercedes, and I think the Ali Ferrari curse has plagued the Mercedes, let alone struck the Mercedes like Junuvane did.
Squid being held for a hell of a long time there in the pits. Thankfully, his teammate's car has disappeared, so he doesn't get stuck behind it on pit exit.
I don't know what to say here at this point, but we've got quite the field spread amongst tyre runners. We've got Obviously, the podium places right now of Nigel, Shadows, and Phenom on the medium tyres, but Yorkie and Twins, they've definitely made the most of this start. Despite the second safety car in this race, they've held their ground. But with all these safety cars that's happened in this race, Biddle a bit out of shape there, going around towards turn 15. Another driver on the hards. Then we've got Lemming and Snedden on the mediums. But with all these safety cars, these hard compound tyre runners are going to be struggling massively with the tyre warm-up.
Yeah, and they'll have another lap at least to get some heat into those tyres. It does depend on the leader, of course, how long they get, but the best opportunity is just before the safety car goes.
Nigel has redeemed a Cold Tom's drink for you.
Thank you, Nigel.
Oh hey. Noticing too here, Silverside Boy has got rid of those hard compound tyres, so they're now committed to a two-stop race. Bally ditching those mediums for a set of hards, so they are probably going to try and go to the end. Tidgham getting rid of the hards as well, and Tiddlewink catching the queue made their pit stop behind the first safety car, Swid onto a new set of hards also. So safety car should be in at the end of this lap. Pardon me. And nothing really more to say. Like, safety car in the end of this lap. Penalties, not really many. Still have Biddle on his 5 seconds and CTX with 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. Have a look at the position graphic while we wait for the safety car to complete this lap. Nigel up 5 places to take the lead of the race. Yorkie started down in P11, is up 7 places into 4th. Snedden's up 8 places, Lemming's up 9 places. And Junuvane, despite losing 9 places, is on a bit of a fight back.
Yep, I suspect a lot of the drivers will have to pit again, with the exceptions of maybe Hawley and Squid, although their tyres will definitely not be very good at the end of their stint. I think, there's been a bit of a kerfuffle in the midfield, and I think
Noticed that.
has lost part of his front wing.
Noticed that on board with Lemming. Nope, they've lost a full front wing. Oh dear. So I think they might have clipped the wall or made a bit of contact with Snedden. But safety car will be in at the end of this lap.
Looked like he came near to the back of Snedden there.
Biddle as well having to slam on the brakes to avoid the Red Bull. But now we'll jump up to the front.
Restart. Nigel Pickle restart. Nigel Fidgel.
Of course. I'm suspecting he'll leave this possibly up to the line. Nope, he's went now and he's caught the field out a little bit there. But Shadows. He's going to stick with them. I do apologise for the slight cutout on my microphone. But Twins trying to challenge Yorkie in towards turn 1. Nothing happening there, but Lemming is taking that pit stop movement further back for Silverside Boy and Twins to the inside of Yorkie. There's a bit of contact there between the Alpine and the Alpha Tauri. Yorkie is ditched out of that, went down the escape road and has tumbled down the order down towards the back of the grid. But Nigel getting the restart he needed has got away, but Phenom now almost pushing Shadows down towards turn 4. It's just not happening on this occasion. But Twins, bit of lag there from the Alpine. That's allowed Snedden to get right behind them up towards the turn 5, turn 6 chicane. But this is part of the track that you will not expect much overtaking. But Junuvane will be in a desperate mood to get past Biddle. Trying to warm up his tyres is the Red Bull. Up to the castle now. Single file, please. Through the castle. Oh, I think Junuvane might have hit the wall a little bit. But they've got away without any damage. So that's a bit of an escape there for the Red Bull on that fight back after lap 1. A bit of a calm down now across the field. And Sneddon slamming into the wall there, and he also avoids damage to his McLaren. Speaking of McLaren, we've got Silverside Boy making up places at the restart after making his first pit stop in this race. He's now right behind the Haas of Eagle. But up at the front, Nigel getting the restart he needed. He's up by a second to Shadows in second, and that same 1 second gap to Phenom in third. Twins another second back in fourth. Then we've got Sneddon right behind the Alpine waiting to pounce, and the McLaren is the filling of an Alpine sandwich with Midfield Maestro in sixth. Biddle in seventh, but he's got that 5 second penalty to serve in his pit stop. Junuvane in eighth, and he's looking a bit punching out behind the Ferrari, but Biddle deploying a bit of his ERS, defending against the Red Bull. That's the fight for seventh. Edo in ninth, and Silverside Boy rounds out the top 10 so far.
Yep, crucially, although Junu started on the top, right at the top, his fight with Bidley will be for position. Both drivers will stop again. Although Junu doesn't have to stop again, there's no way his tyres are going to the end of the race.
Bit of a fight further back here for 14th place as Valenti, bit of wall riding there for the Ferrari, and he's now had to let Tiddlewink through. Squid's fought his way past the Ferrari, and now Yorkie making up a place after having to dive down the escape road to avoid the torpedo of Twins down towards turn 4. And Valenti is just not liking those hard compound tyres, and I get the feeling that's going to be the same across most of the league, to be fair, as the hard compound tyres around this track, they just haven't worked whatsoever. But looking now, Twins, he's pulled away a bit from Sneddon, and he's now caught up to the back of Phenom, and with DRS being enabled on the next lap here, Phenom is still within DRS range of Shadows, but Twins is looking to try and fight and get into the podium places.
Yeah, I did see towards the end of that lap Valente hitting the wall on turn 15 exit, and he has got front wing damage. Looking,
and another driver who,
sorry
to cut in there, David, but another driver who might have damage is Junuvane. They got into a bit of a collision, I think it was with Edo or it was Midfield Maestro further back, and Junuvane very late on the brakes there, just keeps it out of the wall. Well held there for Junuvane, but that's going to lose him a place to Bali, and Tidgham now right behind the Red Bull. But I'm not sure what happened there. Out of turn 1, we saw Biddle making an overtake on Maestro for 6th place, and Junuvane making a bit of a meal of it, braking a bit too late. He got caught up in the action somewhere, and Edo has made up 2 places in the space of 1 corner. So this fight here for P6 is starting to get a little bit antsy. But the clouds over the track, much like in Q2, it could show a sign of rain, and Twins has shown out of the way of Sneddon, and he's lost his front wing somewhere.
Very close to DNFing there. And Ridley's up into P5 then. And
Twins diving out of the way to stay out of the way and avoid everyone, because that midfield is in such close proximity.
Phenom's out.
Oh, Phenom, what have you done?
Oh,
Phenom. Oh, that is quite a scary place.
Very precarious place.
Yeah, that could have been an absolute airplane crash. But David, it's starting to rain here in Baku.
And there, yep, I've just seen it myself. And there are some drivers coming into the pits. It'll be interesting. It's only a virtual safety car. Are these all front wing changes? Oh, surely it's too early for any. Oh my god. It's like Tiddlewink's put on the intermediate tyres, as has Yorkie and Valente. Twins has put on the mediums. It'll be interesting to see, because there's no way it's intermediate weather right now, and this is not a full safety car. So,
Suppose they do have nothing to lose though.
is it raining more than I think it is?
It's definitely raining, but it's very light rain.
Oh, Lemming.
Oh, Lemon, you fraud. And Lemming's got to serve a drive-through penalty. But DRS has been disabled.
Wow.
So maybe
Oh, someone
it
twins went
is time for...
straight on at turn. Whatever it is.
Oh dear.
5. It is. Could very well be weapon. As DRS it
Looking
is.
as well. Oh, Lemming's had
gone
problems
round
as well. An absolute disaster for both Red Bulls in this race. But we did not have a look up at the front here. Yep, Nigel did have to lift off there, going through turn number 19, and I get the feeling that this is going to be a pit stop for everyone here. So Tiddlewink, Yorkie, Valente, they did make the right call on going to the intermediates, and just seeing how slippery it is there going into the pit lane. I'll be amazed if any driver doesn't get a penalty for all this.
Yeah, this track
We've got a
has
yellow
evolved.
flag. Oh,
This track has evolved very quickly. I think there's Lemming hitting the wall again.
yeah, it's all fell apart for Lemming. But Shadow's making their pit stop. Nigel, he's lost the lead of the race here, I think.
Twins
He
has
has.
gone
Nigel's
straight on.
Nigel's lost the lead of the race here to Shadows, having to get held in his pit box while everyone had to go past him. And we've got a safety car here again.
Have we?
I think we do have a safety car.
Oh yeah, there
Yes,
it
we
is.
do.
Oh,
That must be for the debris on track, but Twins, oh dear, him and Lemming are ice skating up, and Lemming spinned it out of turn 19. An absolute lap from hell for Lemming, and that is them out of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And Twins limping back to the pits. They made the wrong call to go on to those mediums, but they won't lose too much ground here. But I think this is the first time that we've actually had a wet to dry race across all of our tiers this campaign.
Yeah, but it's Snedden.
Oh,
Snedden.
Twins, what are you doing?
5 seconds for exceeding track limits.
Huh? Never seen that before. 5 seconds for Snedden for track limits. But Twins, what are you doing? He's went back out on hards.
That's interesting. That's the kind of penalty you would get for in a 25% race, cutting a corner, like going straight on at. Oh, looks like Snedden just lost a bit of his front wing on turn 15. But yeah, that's the sort of penalty you get for cutting across the turn 1 at Monza. I'm not quite sure what he's done to get the 5 second track limit penalty there, especially around that part of the track. Either way, I think we'll see him in the pits to fix his front wing and serve that penalty, quite possibly.
He's not the only one in the pits though. Shadows has made his way into the pits, and so has Nigel.
Has there been some
And both of
damage?
them are getting front wing changes.
Could that be? Surely both of them haven't hit turn 15.
Surely not, but Snedden, he won't be complaining. He'll inherit the lead of the race, and as Phenom has left the session, but they've DNF'd anyway. And Fish Sticks for clarity saying that they cut the corner before the castle section. That's still a bit harsh though to give a 5 second penalty. Not sure about that. But anyway, seen now Shadows after leading the race at one point down in 8th, but Nigel down in 11th, and Twins has dropped it out of turn 15 and they're out of the race as well. Brief pause in the race. Shadows in the Twitch chat saying that they forgot to change their front wing on their first stop, so they were carrying front wing damage even before the rain started to fall. unknown territory for all of our drivers. Lap 13 here in Baku at the halfway point of this race, and one of the only few times that we've had a wet to dry race here in FPRL. As Diamond dropping a hello boys. Good evening to you too, Diamond.
Yeah,
but,
good evening.
As I was saying, and dropping a good evening from David, but again, unknown territory for all of our drivers, and that's now going to make Sector 3 of this track an absolute, what's the word I'm looking for here? A hazard for everyone. This is going to be pretty tenuous now. Towards the end, Snedden might have just scraped the wall there going around turn 19.
I certainly heard something. I'm not sure how long I've been muted for, but I was talking a little bit about the frustration of this game where unless you've got, I think, orange or red front wing damage, you need to tell your engineer in the MFD that you need to change your front wing, which is absolutely ridiculous in my opinion. It's caught me out plenty of times. I have someone reminding me at every race that I need to put that to yes. And yeah, I think you can see on your screen that Squid comes in for a front wing change.
Yeah, between the Red Bulls and the Mercedes, it's been an absolute nightmare race for the pair of them. Bit of a mixed up grid once again. Underneath this safety car, we'll have a look at the positions graphic. We've got Snedden up in the lead of this race so far, but he will be carrying that 5-second penalty towards the end if he don't have to make another pit stop. So Edo currently inherits lead of the race with midfield Maestro in second, Tiddlewink and Yorkie 4th and 5th for Alpha Tauri, and we've got Silverside Boy up in 6th, Biddle in 7th, Shadows making that late pit stop under the safety car, well, the second pit stop under the safety car to get a new front wing in 8th. Junuvane still on their charge through the field up in 9th, and Bali, the final points runner so far, down in 10th.
Yep, so we're just over the halfway mark of the race, and I have to admit that it looks a lot wetter on the stream than it does on my POV. That might just be the image on my laptop
Squid.
screen. Oh, has he dropped it turn 14?
Dropped it turn 14, he is out of the race.
Oh dear.
And safety car will be in this lap. So it's now Snedden's turn to lead them away at this restart.
Yeah, an infamous
very
Snedden restart for the first lap in quite a while.
I mean, a very treacherous Baku street circuit. Snedden will lead them away to start lap 15 as Squid has left the session. And traditional Snedden restart, he has left it right up to the line. And no movement through the grid, but Biddle having to defend here against Shadows, Junuvane and Bali.
Oh, Pickle's out!
Piddle's out, CTX is out, and Yorkie's in the wall! Oh dear. Once again it's a Snedden restart, and it's taught out a few of our drivers, and Maestro and Edo now fighting over what will be the net lead of this race if Snedden can't break that 5-second barrier.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because obviously midfield Maestro giving us spoilers earlier that he's put in a bit of a wet setup, and obviously at the moment we see him streaking away from Eagle in P2, and he's right on the back of Snedden, and his setup will be doing wonders right now. But I suspect towards the end of the lap, where we've got straight line, a little bit wide there, yeah, I suspect he won't be able to make the move.
Whereas he did take the hit in qualifying to run a higher downforce setup. Massive slide though, leaving the castle section, but he will be reaping the rewards of that setup. But Snedden and I think everyone else though on this grid are running a lower setup, so the most they can do is throw in a bit of front wing for their pit stop. Oh, Tiddlywink slammed into the wall. It all went south for the AlphaTauri. So both drivers struggling with these wet conditions here, and lurking behind them is the McLaren of Silverside Boy. Biddle with a bit of a cue, and Bally a massive snap out of turn 16 that just keeps it in check. But Biddle now with a bit of a slipstream train here with the Williams of Shadows. And then we've got Bally in 8th, Junuvane in 9th, and Tidgham up into the points in 10th. But you were saying as well that Midfield Maestro might be struggling with the setup down around sector 3. He has kept within touching distance though of Snedden, but these two have just pulled away completely from Edo. The gap 3.5 seconds between second and third. Tiddlywink with that front wing damage in 4th, and Silverside Boy ready to pounce when he gets the chance in 5th. But we'll jump up to the front now for the main fight for the lead of this race. Snedden and Midfield Maestro, and this is where the setup will come into play here for the Alpine. Better downforce, so he'll be coping a lot better through these slower speed corners. Having a bit of a look now into turn 5, backs out of it on this occasion as Yorkie's in the pits to change their front wing, but Snedden a bit deep there out of turn 6. This will give Maestro the run down towards turn 7. Is he going to think about it? He did think about it, but he's not committed to it, so just we'll stick behind the McLaren for a little bit longer through the castle section. But Edo, he's definitely struggling in these conditions. It's now 4 seconds between him and second place, and I think rather soon there's a chance he might be having a bit of a train behind him. But with DRS disabled, it might be a bit more problematic for the drivers behind to try and get past.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to try and get a shot that will show whether or not Eagle might be carrying some wing damage. Although, Tiddlywink almost definitely is now a Snedden. Side by side with Maestro. Maestro looked like he got ahead there, but on the exit of turn 16, Snedden's got through. Oh, Maestro pulls out, and Snedden just about keeps it. But very compromised line, that's allowed midfield to go through. They're side by side down the start, finish straight. And here we can see that Snedden's got the better straight line speed because he's got the lower wings.
Only thing it might have been punted though from Maestro down to turn 1 is Tiddlywink has backed off of that fight. He's in the pits now for a new front wing, but that was absolute wheel-to-wheel racing from the McLaren and the Alpine. Nothing really more I can say about that. That was beautiful racing between the pair of them, and now Maestro, as we said as well, and as you mentioned, taking us through that fight, his front wing damage. It's not front wing damage, excuse me, that is Edo who has front wing damage, as mentioned by Button in the Twitch chat. But Maestro running that higher setup as Bally gets a 5-second penalty for crossing the white line. So that is put a spanner in the works for his fight for points. But Maestro, he wants this place on track. He's not going to settle for that 5-second penalty after the race. He wants this victory badly.
Yeah, so of course in that tussle between the front two did allow Eagle to catch up a little bit, but immediately has dropped that time once again. And to be fair, he's not managed to get reeled in by Silverside Boy in P4. It's turned out to be a very good recovery drive from the two McLaren drivers. As Silverside Boy is slightly catching up now. We'll see in the coming laps what happens there.
Seeing how careful these drivers are on the throttle around turn 18 and 19, a section of track that is near enough flat out in the dry, but you're almost walking pace through the wet. You're just so scared to put the throttle down around that section in case you go into the wall. But Maestro has to settle with looking at the back of that McLaren for a little bit longer as Tidgem's into the pits, and I think that might be for another front wing change for the Aston Martin team. Will stick with Tidgem while he makes his pit stop.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a front wing change for Tidgem. That'll drop him right into the clutches of Bally and maybe Lewis Yorkie and out of the points. So despite having a strong recovery for Tidgem, it's been a little bit problematic now for the closing stages of this race. Lap 18 of 26 here in Baku. Snedden and midfield Maestro, the clear front runners in this race, with Edel in third, having their own problems with Silverside Boy and Biddle trying to catch up and take that podium place from him. Then we've got Shadows in sixth. And Junivane still trying to recover. He's up in seventh. Valenti, a strong showing for the Ferrari in terms of positions gained, up 10 places to 18th. Then we've got Tiddlewink having to take another pit stop and change that front wing in ninth, and Bally having another problem as CTX has left the session. They will need to invite back. But up at the front though, Maestro and Snedden once again resuming their fight around turn 15, and it's going to be another wheel-to-wheel fight around turn 16. And Snedden has got the winner's rights in that one, but Maestro, he's definitely getting closer to the back of that McLaren.
Yeah, but most importantly, as you can see right here, Snedden, despite the slipstream midfield's getting, he pulls away in a straight. And that might be what keeps him ahead. And unfortunately, due to the 5 second, he's not going to be able to keep that. I guess he's just hoping for a mistake maybe from Maestro. But Maestro doesn't have to try too hard, he just needs to sit behind. And one thing we should take a look at is, to be honest, I'm not sure how long the Inters go here. They're going to have to pit again?
Not too sure. Like, we're all in a bit of an unknown territory here. We've very rarely, even outside of the league, actually had a wet race around Baku, so we don't know what the conditions of these tyres will be. But having a look at the telemetry graphic, we saw that Snedden was on 50% battery, spinning his wheels there out of turn 8 towards the castle. But midfield Maestro, he's on 70% battery, so he's able to keep up and has more battery deployment. But at the same time, as you keep saying, that downforce is going to cost him time. But we've seen how much more planted he is around turn 13 and turn 14. Up towards turn 15 now, Snedden a bit of a clunk on the inside curb, that drifts him a bit wide. Keeps out of the wall though. And up towards turn 16, once again, it's like Groundhog Day for midfield Maestro. He just can't get close enough to make a pass stick on the McLaren. But Biddle has made a pass stick on Edo and Silverside Boy. I think Silverside Boy's hit problems. They might have went a bit deep into turn 15, and there's a safety car.
Yeah, the three places Silverside Boy lost there. I'm not sure whether he had a coming together with Eagle or because he was definitely catching up. But another safety car. What for?
But
we'll let
midfield Maestro is in the pits. Well, Maestro is. I wonder, does he have damage, or is he just trying to get another set of intermediates on? No, this is a tactical change. Is he? He's going on softs.
That is bold.
That is a massive gamble.
Now, could the rain be lightening up? It looks like it's definitely still raining.
But
Valente
he's not the only one to take that chance. Not the only one to take that chance. Valente following suit. So I'm not too sure, but Edo is on another set of inters. Bally's in the pits now. What's he gonna do? I'm not too sure, because well done Codemasters. He's serving his time penalty and he's on to a set of intermediates. Yorkie,
on softs.
He's out on softs.
Yep.
well.
Oh, Paulie.
Oh,
Oh,
for
Paulie.
God's sake, Bali. You just served the 5 seconds just to get it back.
Yeah. And
Nice job.
interestingly, I just watched Yorkie. Watched Yorkie through turn 2 there.
in the wall.
He didn't appear to have too much trouble getting the car turned. Oh, yeah, okay, he definitely did into turn 3.
But I'm going to jump on board with Yorkie. The rain is definitely lightening off, but it's about how quickly this track will dry up. We saw how quickly the rain fell, and within one lap it was intermediate conditions. Will it be the same for this safety car restart? I'm not too sure, but the sun is definitely coming out here around Baku, and if I were Snedden here, or even Biddle, despite the fact you're in this position to maybe even win the race, maybe even look as well to Junuvane and Silverside Boy. Oh, Junuvane's lost his front wing.
Oh no.
Well, he's definitely going to have to make the call now. Does he go for intermediates, or does he pit for slicks?
Well,
this is going to be the call that will decide the Red Bulls race, and not only that, I think everyone in front of him has made the pit stop, but Snedden hasn't. He's committed to staying out on these tyres.
yeah, Tiddlewink is coming in. Interesting to see that, because midfield would look like he was really struggling and continues to struggle to get pace in those tyres, to get the car turned in. He's got so much understeer, and I mean there's only so many laps left in this race. I don't know how long the safety car will stay out for, but yeah, I'm not I think taking the hit straight away, especially given so many.
Oh, Junuvane.
Oh, what's he done?
I think he's lit up the rears and he's slammed into the wall. So I wonder, is the track really ready for slicks? Because right now there's only 2 drivers on inters, and that's Snedden who leads the way. But we'll have at least 2 laps under the safety car, and we've got Bali down in 9th, while everyone else will be driving on ice. This is where these two have to make the right call, and hope they did make the right call for the remainder of this race, because by the time we get underway again in Baku, I believe, if my maths isn't wrong, we'll only have 3 laps of racing left.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're Orley, you've got nothing to lose. I would suggest staying out. Snedden has no choice. He's effectively got to keep going and pray it doesn't get too dry too quick. Because he will almost certainly have the pace on the cars behind at the restart. It looks like, it does indeed look like maybe a little bit more pace in the softs now, but once they start getting there, it will be very obvious that they're on the right tyre, and yeah, any decision now from Snedden will be a bit alive. Oh, it's damage limitation. He's coming in. And that unleashes midfield maestro, and importantly for Snedden, he's going to serve his 5-second penalty as well. Oh, getting through the day.
Oh dear, this is going to be a dramatic end to this race. So Biddle now up into second, but Snedden fixing his front wing. That's now losing even more time in this pit stop. Edo goes through, Tiddlewink will go through, Tidgham diving back into the pits. That's got to be for another front wing change. Bali does stay out, and he does. Bali has jumped Snedden in the pit stop, so now the leader of this race is now down in 8th.
Yeah, it's damage limitation from here for the McLaren driver.
And another McLaren driver, Silverside Boy, just keeps it out of the wall at turn 3, and I think Biddle had a few problems with that as well. And we're looking to further back. Junuvane in the pits to go onto a set of softs. and Tijim is back out on inters. So Tijim here is committed to go to the end on those intermediate tyres.
Well,
I get the feeling this will be, of course, down in 9th place. He's down in 9th place, so he does have nothing to lose, but Bally and Tiddlewink exchanging places. What's going on here? Tiddlewink has had to let Bally through. Oh dear, looks like that's an illegal overtake under the safety car.
Yeah, I think maybe Tiddlewink was either off track due to a bit of understeer, and Bally just sort of went past him. But you can see how much more pace Bally has right now. Oh, safety
And
cars
safety cars in there.
well.
Oh!
What's happened?
Bally nearly slammed into the back of Edo. And I'm not sure what these two are doing here, but they were having a bit of a Hamilton-Vettel-esque standoff going around turn 15, but the safety car will be in at the end of this lap. And we've only really got a group of 4 cars here up at the front. Midfield Maestro, Biddle almost alongside the Alpine, ready to go. Shadows in 3rd, Silverside Boy in 4th. Edo, Bally and Tiddlewink have caught up to this queue. Snedden is going to, if they don't get restarted as quick as he wants them to. But Maestro is leaving this right to the final chance he can to pull the pin and get started to go for the final 4 laps here in Baku. And Bally does get the jump on Edo. He's got past him, and I think Edo's got a few problems. He's under pressure now from Tiddlewink. Very wide there, we're almost 3 wide here, but Tijim on those intermediates, he's went right back excuse me, he went right past all 3 of them. So TGM has got the drip here. I wonder if he enters where the right call after all. Oh! How on earth did Tijim get through that? Tijim there alongside Shadows. He's got the later brakes. Tijim, he made the right call to stick on inters. Tijim's up in 3rd place. What a restart for the Aston Martin. But midfield Maestro now does lead. He still holds the lead now with Biddle up in 2nd. And Tijim's just got so much superior grip. He's went right around the outside of the Ferrari. Tijim, after being in 9th place before the restart, he's now up into 2nd. Bally now on his intermediates, try to get past Biddle, and he does. The intermediates were the right call here right now, but with the track drying up, both Tijim and Bally have to make the absolute most of this and get as big of a gap as they can to the field around them. Biddle now down in 4th, but Shadows and Silverside Boy 5th and 6th. Edo now under pressure from Tiddlewink, and Snedden's now caught up to the back of the Alpha Tauri, and Lewis Yorkie, a bit of a lonely 10th place there for Yorkie, but points are points. But Tijim and Bally both making a point here, taking the risk to stay out, to both making the, I shouldn't say stay out, excuse me, to pit for intermediates as Snedden further back, fighting away with Tiddlewink. He does get past the Alpha Tauri, and I think, oh no, they both came at blows at turn 16, both of them are in the wall. So Tiddlewink and Snedden, their race is ran. Yorkie's up into 8th place, and Tijim takes the lead here in Baku while we were spectating Tiddlewink and Snedden. The Aston Martin of TGM is into the lead of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix on lap 24 of this race. Midfield Maestro down in 2nd place, but the track is starting to dry up here. So now the advantage swings back to those soft compound tyre runners. Bally in 3rd. And Bally's lost his front wing somewhere. Oh, Bally, oh man. So now all that good work is going to be undone for the Alfa Romeo unless he stays out, as Tiddlewink has retired from the race after that collision with Snedden. Biddle now in 4th, being heckled by the Williams of Shadows, and Silverside Boy in 6th. Both of them want to try and get past as quickly as they can. With DRS being enabled next lap, that will be their chance to make their move, and Maestro has made his move and he's retook the lead back from TGM. So those advantage the intermediates had at the restart are starting to go away now, and Maestro now has the chance to stretch his legs with Biddle, Shadows and Silverside Boy all in their own fight further back. Oh, I had no chance to catch my breath there. I do apologise, but
I
no,
was on
it's
mute.
fine.
I said that, yeah, so that overtake was purely on traction out of turn 6 from midfield Maestro. And yeah, it seems that while at the start of the restart, Inters were good, it now is very apparent that these softs are king. Straight line speed.
DRS will be enabled for lap 25, this penultimate lap of a crazy Azerbaijan Tier 2 Grand Prix. But Biddle now will have the DRS advantage on Bali. I think Bali now is on the wrong tyre. He's got no front wing, he's got no battery, and I don't think he has much of a chance against the Ferrari. But the setup though for Bali is helping him stay ahead. He's got much superior straight line speed, as you said, David. Biddle does hit that little bump though down towards turn 3. But the downforce that Bali is losing without that front wing, it's going to be absolutely critical for this Ferrari to get past that Alfa Romeo. But the gap now up at the front, midfield Maestro and TGM 2.5 seconds, and Biddle has made that move stick. He's now up into the podium, and now Shadow's now right behind the Alfa Romeo as well, who's, no other word for it, struggling like hell in the closing stages of this race.
Yeah, he's like a sitting duck, is poorly, and well, I'd say he probably did. Oh, there was it's like Shadows could have like really just plowed into the back of him there. A strange line there through turns 13, 14, 15. But yeah, it looks like Borley has got it recovered. He should still be able to get some points as long as he doesn't do that too much. As Eagle is now on the back of him, and he gets past into P6 then.
Right now for P2 up at the front. Biddle just got so much more superior grip than TGM. But all that work that Tidgham done at the restart, it is going to help him in the long run. He still runs in third place, but Biddle up into second, and now Shadows is going to have the DRS run on the Aston Martin. He's trying to make his intermediate tyres work on the final lap of this race, but it's just not going to happen. So much more grip on those soft compound tyres, and Shadows finds himself back into the podium place. And now Silverside Boy down the inside of Tidgham in towards turn 4, but Tidgham does hold the place around the outside.
Don't need to rush it. He'll get him on the traction here, no doubt. Alright,
doesn't have much battery, does Tidgham. Silverside Boy, I'm seeing on the driver's wheel there, is on 50%. But up at the front, midfield Maestro, we thought he was crazy to make the earlier pit stop. Well, to make that pit stop under the safety car and go onto softs. He was the first driver to blink onto a set of soft compound tyres. He made the compromise for his qualifying setup. He only started down in 12th, as Silverside Boy does finally get past TGM, but his fight for a podium is going to come to an end. He's just going to run out of time. But the time is now for midfield Maestro as he makes his way down the main straight for the final time. The Alpine, we thought he made a mistake running a higher downforce setup, but it's going to be a higher power and a first place feeling for midfield Maestro. He wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix for Tier 2. Biddle recovers for second place, and Shadows rounds out the podium. A solid weekend all round for Shadows in third. Silverside Boy getting caught up behind TGM, missed his chances to try and get a podium. He finishes in fourth. Eagle just gets past TGM on the run to the line to steal fifth place by less than a tenth of a second. Tidgham, a brilliant restart from the Aston Martin, sees him in sixth. Then we've got Lewis Yorkie in seventh, Bali in eighth, and what a race. That's all I'm going to say. What a closing stages to this race.
Yeah, definitely an exciting one. Definitely not one to be commentating on when you've got when you've got COVID. I'm so glad
I'm
you
happy
took
to
the
help.
reins.
And we're seeing there Diamond saying up the Biddle. Some good points for the Ferrari team in the Constructors' Championship. Maestro saying that Nigel was laughing at their wet setup, but I suppose Maestro is basking in a ton of champagne right now. The winner of the Tier 2 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and Monkey Boy Kurt in the chat saying up the Alpine, get in Maestro. An absolute masterclass from Maestro. Wow, those final 4 laps were incredible. And there's your podium for the evening. Midfield Maestro in first, Biddle in second, and this time we will get his interview in, unlike, I do apologise, and Shadows rounding out the podium in third. Silverside Boy in fourth. Strong recovery for one of the McLarens at least in this race, as Edo finishes in fifth. Tidjum from the back of the grid to finish in sixth, and at one point looked destined to try and win this race. Just if it only kept raining that little bit longer, for all we know, he could have won. Yorkie in 7th, Bali in 8th after that 5-second penalty. Junivane, he showed all the qualifying pace but couldn't put it to the race. He finishes in 9th, and Belente in the Ferrari rounds out the points, and Snedden, the final finisher in this race, he just fell apart for him when the rain fell. And when it rains, it pours for Snedden. But midfield, I don't have anything else to say apart from that final 5 or 6 laps in that race. Probably the best bit of racing I have had to commentate on. A brilliant race from the Tier 2s. And thank you once again to Baku, another thrilling race. We wait now for everyone to jump into a party and get them for their interview. I have been rewarded with some pit coins. Thank you, Toadmasters, how generous. Into the virtual showroom we go and have a look at our third place driver's car, the Williams of Shadows. Just waiting out for our drivers to filter into the party, and it was a good time as any. While we do that, I'm going to ask David who would be his driver of the day.
Oh, it's a bit you throw me on the spot. It's usually right at
It's
the
a little
end.
bit, I do apologise.
To be honest, I'm still sort of umming and ahhing a little bit. Might have to
If
wait
you can't
till the end of the
decide-
stream, to be honest.
Of course, there are plenty of candidates to choose.
Yeah, who have we got? We've only got the one. We've got the two now.
Oh yeah, and Shadows is saying that they can't join once again for an interview. But
Shit on the Ashdown.
of course, but I think me and David will both agree in saying brilliant race and well done to Shadows on that third place.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think it's only David saying absolutely, and I think it's only fair I make amends for Sunday. I will interview our second place driver while you interview our winner this evening, David.
Good luck. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be the fair assumption if Biddle is in the party, and this time he is. Not making that mistake again.
Include your audio.
I'm not used to this, to be fair, so I actually haven't included it. It's-
Right, we'll have a look at the Ferrari. Of course, a familiar sight in Tier 3 with Diamond winning every blooming race. But Biddle, first off, I'm sorry for what happened on Sunday. You finally get your interview with me on the commentaries for tonight's race.
I'm blessed. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. After I was robbed on Sunday, I should say. I'm so happy to be here.
Right, well, first off, just take us through like that final safety car when I'm pretty sure you had the stream broadcast on in the background when you heard that Maestro was first to pull the pin and go onto a set of soft tyres Did you consider going to softs when the safety car came out, or did you just follow his lead?
No, I didn't have the stream on actually, so I had no idea what everyone was doing. But I was talking to other people in the race, and I kind of saw that most people were kind of making the gamble. So I thought, you know what? If everyone's done it, we're all in the same boat, really. So we'll give it a go. And yeah, I mean, I thought it was the wrong call, but then the track dried up pretty quickly on the last couple of laps, so yeah, it helped me out towards the end.
And forgive me, but I believe you qualified. You qualified down in 15th after that collision in Q1. But going into the race, was the main goal really just to try and like steal a few points, or did you really think you had a good chance at getting a strong result in this race?
I thought I had the pace for points. I thought I had the pace definitely to lose Q3. I actually frauded myself a little bit and crashed while trying to give my teammate a tow. So I didn't actually need to put the lap in. So that wasn't ideal. But yeah, I thought in the race, kind of watching a couple of the races this week around the same circuit, I thought if I keep it clean, I'm guaranteed some points. So that's literally what I was trying to do, just avoid losing front wings as such, and yeah, trying to keep it clean.
And I think final question from me this evening is a pretty recurring one. Going on to the next race around Canada, with the second place tonight, I'm pretty sure your confidence has took a big swing in your favour.
Yeah, I quite like Canada as well. It's a good track. I think I should be racing it. So yeah, hopefully I can get some good points. I think I got a podium there last season, but I've not been getting on with this game as well as last year. So there's some quite quick drivers in the field, but yeah, hoping for a good result there too.
And that is our P2 man for the evening, Biddle. And once again, congratulations and a very strong result for you. I'll pass over to David Lawface to interview our winner this evening, Midfield Maestro.
Thank you, Cruiser. We'll see how well this goes. First of all, congratulations, Maestro.
Thank you.
So, yeah, we all sort of thought not much of it when you said that it's gonna rain in the race, and it turns out that became a bit of a blessing in disguise for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think the rain dance paid off. But no, I mean, I thought I'd gamble on a wet setup because I checked the report in quali and it said there was a high chance of rain, like between 15-30 minutes into the race. And I know this track with safety cars is going to pull the rain a bit closer to the middle of the race, so I thought why not just gamble on the basically sacrifice quali, get stuck in the middle maybe, but yeah, just gambled on the wet setup. Had a lot of traction in sector 2, but I was getting absolutely caned down the straights, to be honest. I didn't even bother defending half the time because there was literally no point. Had a little incident on turn 1, got spun around, don't know what happened there, but no damage, luckily. And just tried to stay in the race really. My plan was to stay on hards until the rain came out, and yeah, I knew as soon as it started raining, I had the feeling I would probably have more grip than most, unless others were running a similar setup. So yeah, just managed to stay with Snedden. Snedden was actually really quick in the wet as well, to be fair. So fair play if he was running a dry setup and I had that pace in the wet. So yeah, we're just trying to keep up with Snedden. I really didn't want another safety car at the end, because if it dried up and everyone's behind me on a dry setup, I was probably not going to win the race. So. But yeah, when the last safety car came out, I just thought, I had to make the call. So I just jumped in for softs. Yeah, and it paid off really. I think there was a great battle with TJ when there was a crossover period, and might have been slightly faster. That was a great battle there, but as soon as the track dried up near the end, yeah, just the softs kicked in, and luckily I kind of had that buffer with the 2 guys on inters behind me to stop the softs from catching up, I suppose. But yeah, well happy with that, to be honest. Yeah, just a gamble that paid off really.
Yeah, fair enough. To be honest, my next question would have been on the safety car start, but you've already mentioned it, so I'm going to skip my second question, go straight to the third. Excuse me. So, next week is Canada then. Do you think you can, how do you feel about Canada? Do you think you can carry some form
Well-
into that race?
I'm actually not going to be here next week 'cause I'm on holiday. I'm going on holiday on Wednesday, so I'm actually going to miss
Broad.
next week. Yeah, I'm going abroad. And yeah, I'll be back for the race after. I think I'm coming back the Friday of the next race after that, which is what's after Canada. I'm not sure. I'll be back for that race.
That'll be. I think that'll be Silverstone. That's the race
Ah,
after
okay.
Montreal.
Yeah, I'll be back for that, and with probably minimal practice because I think I'm going to land a few hours before the race. So, but I will make it for the race. Yeah.
Up the
That's
jet
cool.
lag.
Straight off the plane into the car. That's it. So, yeah, I won't be here next week, so I can't really answer that one. But I'm gonna take a hit in the championship, obviously. But sign off with a win for the break. So yeah, can't complain.
Yeah, fair enough. Unless Cruiser has a question, I'm gonna just finish off and say congratulations, Team Maestro.
Thank you.
And I think I'll echo David's comment and massive well done, Maestro. Took the hit in qualifying, but you hit the top of the order for tonight's Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And also just to throw this out there, good bloomin' luck for the jet lag race around Silverstone. The man's gonna pull Nico Hulkenberg.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Cheers.
And I think that will round out tonight's Tier 2 race around Azerbaijan. But of course, David Lowface, have you whittled down tonight's grid for tonight's driver of the day?
I think I'm going to give it to Bidley, to be fair. He had a bit of a quiet race, but he was very good in the changeable conditions, and it saw him climb up plenty of places. And of course, he did take the P2. Plenty of shout outs to give. I think Maestro had a fantastic race. Eagle had a fantastic race, found himself towards the back, he came back with some good points. Silverside Boy also. Snedden was doing fantastically until I think he kind of fell away after the last safety car and unfortunately didn't pick up any points. But yeah, I think driver of the day for me is Mr. Bidley.
And of course, Biddle left the party while we were interviewing Maestro, so will not be able to claim that award in person. The absolute fraud. Anyway, that will be it for tonight's Tier 2 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, as I said. FPRL will be back next Wednesday, where the Tier 3 drivers, aka yours truly and Mr. Lowface, will take on Canada. And FPRL will be back this Sunday for round 6 of our Formula 2 Championship, where we head off to France. But that though will be it from me. A massive thank you to David for nursing his throat through Toe Toms and joining me in the commentary box once again.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers, and thank you for stepping up tonight, Cruiser.
My absolute pleasure, David. And Maestro, obviously, big well done once again, and an echo from David's comment. Absolutely brilliant, as your name suggests, an absolute maestro of a race.
Appreciate it, cheers.
And with that, I have been Cruiser 1872. Thank you all for watching, and from all of us here at FPRL, good night.